Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. This meeting of the Ontario Central School District is called to order. We have a tobacco policy in place. There's no smoking within 100 feet of any building. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would the clerk pro tem please take attendance?
Trustee Salem,
Present.
Trustee Sherry, Trustee Osmond, Trustee DeJesus, Trustee Bishop.
Present.
May I have a first? The Board of Oh.
Trustee Story.
Here.
Well, you just lost one vote on the next action item. The Board of Education hereby appoints Amanda Gates as clerk pro tem in the absence of the district clerk. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop, second, second Trustee Story. All those in favor? I thought you raised your hand. All those in favor? Let's get this back on track. It's too early for the wheels to come off. The Board of Education hereby accepts the minutes of the April 5th, 2022 and April 12th, 2022 meetings. May I have a first? Trustee Sherry, second Trustee Story. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. High school principal Lance Edelman will welcome the board.
Good evening. Welcome to Ontario High School. I have a special treat for you tonight, but first I want to go over a few notes. It seems like the principals always get to do some of the, boring things first, and then we, get to have other people shine. So, I just wanted to mention that third quarter report cards went out yesterday. We're now in the fourth quarter. As everyone knows, especially at the high school, the fourth quarter is extremely exciting time. It could also be a stressful time for a lot of our students, especially because many of our students are going to be preparing for final exams, AP exams, regents, etc. What we have to understand and be cognizant of is the fact that only our current 12th grade and a handful of accelerated or honors 11th grade students have ever taken a regents exam. So for a lot of these students, it is extremely stressful, especially because these are considered gatekeeper exams necessary for graduation. So I've been working with our counseling staff, and as you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So for one of the things we're going to focus on with the counselors is reducing test anxiety. And we hope to be able to not only give students some of the resources that they need, but also provide resources to families so they can have conversations with their students, and also to make sure all of our educators, all of our teachers, our teaching assistants are also aware of the stress that this puts on our students. And a lot of the resources will also be posted on the website. So talking about testing, next week it actually begins. Next week, we have all of our students who are going for the Seal of Biliteracy. They'll be giving their presentations to our committee, and that's always exciting. AP exams will start May 2nd to May 11th. This year, we have 84 individual students who will be taking a total of 134 exams. In terms of the final exams and the regent schedule, what we've done is we've done what we've done in the past, which is we've kind of spread out all of the final exams along with the regents throughout the month of June. Our intent was to make sure that students, to the best of our ability, this doesn't hold true for every single student, but to the best of our ability, we try to make it that a student would only take one exam, especially when there's regents exams or lengthy exams. Other exams that we could administer during a class period, we're going to do through the month of June. And we've tried to spread it out and work with departments to the best of our ability. So that's one of the commitments we've made. The entire schedule is on the website. The high school website is current. So you can see the entire schedule, how everything's spread out. And it's not a mistake. There is the first New York State Regent for every student who's taking U.S. history, June 1st. So this first exam really comes early for our 11th grade students, and our AP US history students would also take that exam. What you should also know on the website is that we are offering a lot of after-school academic support and a lot of Regents prep. Those programs have already started, so I encourage people to constantly check the website because we will continue to add things as we see the needs. We have quite a few ceremonies and events coming up, and again, I can't say it enough, the high school's website is current and up to date. As events are happening or we're planning them, we'll try to put up the information in a timely fashion. I'm going to talk about the musical in a little bit, but I do want to mention some things that are happening in May. We have the senior prom, which is May 6th. We're very happy to be working with the new Booster Club as well as the Athletic Council to do a Spirit Day. That day is going to be Saturday, May 14th. This is going to be an unbelievable event. I think it's going to be just like, it's going to be very similar to homecoming. I think you're going to see a lot of students. We're already organizing, I should say, the Booster Club and the Athletic Council are putting together different competitions to award, based on, what events each class wins. They'll be competing against one another. I just think it's going to really raise school spirit, and I think it'll be a nice break, especially, getting ready for the testing season. We will have our spring concerts. The high school's concert will be May 23rd. As soon as we figure out the exact format, we'll post that on the website as well, but the date is on our calendar already. And then we're just waiting a little bit longer. We're going to make sure that we're consistent with, our shared commitment for, maintaining a safe environment throughout COVID before we start talking about what all the June ceremonies are going to look like. But, we will have some form of our senior scholarship and awards ceremony, the National Honor Society induction, and obviously the graduation ceremony. It's going to be a beautiful end of the year. The next time that I present to you guys, hopefully in June, I believe it is, I'd like to bring with me the valedictorian, the salutatorian, and the recipient of the Principal's Award. And I'd like you to hear from them how their years at Onteora have been. I think that's something I look forward to every year. So we'll put that together. And finally, I didn't want to take too much time, but I do want to acknowledge the hard work of the musical director, Mrs. Constant, the musical coordinator, Mrs. Carroll, and all of our students. They've just done an amazing job overcoming some of the obstacles, everything from COVID issues to weather cancellations, and I know the performances are going to be awesome. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Mrs. Constant and Mrs. Carroll and some of the students. I don't know if they want to say a few words first. Mrs. Carroll. You use the mic. You have to use the mic.
Thank you. Hi, how are you? Thank you guys so much for having us. I'm Mrs. Constant.
I'm Mrs. Carroll.
And our choreographer, Amber McCarthy, is over there filling in as a seahorse tonight. We are so excited about the musical this year. After a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, we're finally back on stage. We have everybody from 7th to 12th grade participating this year. Over 30 students, cast and crew, have really dedicated their time since January to our production of The Little Mermaid. We have dealt, I think, as Mr. Edelman said, with COVID, weather, sports, wind. You name it, we have been thrown
I think
all
so.
of those softballs. So it's really a labor of love and a testament to how hardworking these students are. Our show dates are Thursday, April 20th through 28th, through April 30th. Saturday, we're doing 2 shows. The night shows are at 7, and our matinee on Saturday is at 1 o'clock. Currently, I think we are allowing 150 people to each performance. You can buy tickets in advance at ticketstage.com. You can, of course, buy tickets at the door. And if numbers allow, hopefully we'll be able to open up to more audience. So without further ado, this is cast of The Little Mermaid performing Kiss the Girl.
Thank you.
And there might be an ad because we're using a YouTube track because we don't have our band. So I apologize if Grammarly is plugging themselves prior. You can.
I'd like to thank all
Wow.
the students for coming today. It was absolutely great. We can't wait to see you guys at the performance. Now get back in the auditorium and rehearse. Okay. So thank you very much, and I'll take any questions if you have them.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you all so much. Can't wait to see you in all your glory. Thank you for your hard work. Wow. Did not know that was coming. Are there any questions for Principal Edelman?
Great. Well,
Thank you for that very thorough update. I think you highlighted all the incredible areas of interest here, from sports to academics to regents to music and theater. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Have a great meeting.
Thanks. Right. So, next on the agenda is Councilman Ratcliffe from former trustee Ratcliffe from the Woodstock Town Council. He could not make it, but I told him I would read his presentation into the record. Thank you to the Board of Education of the Ontario Central School District for allowing me time to address you. The town of Woodstock is fortunate to have the Woodstock Elementary School within our town's lines. It is a beautiful school. The students, parents, teachers, and staff of Woodstock Elementary are all valued members of our community. We also value the many Woodstock residents who attend, support, and work at Ontario's other elementary, middle, and high schools. Woodstock's town board is considering changes to its tree law. The supervisor has appointed me, that is Bennett Ratcliffe, Councilman Ratcliffe, to lead a task force on this issue. My first step is to reach out to various groups and individuals who have interest in the tree law to ask them to participate or to provide input. One issue pertaining to the school district is quite interesting. As you may know, the current tree law regulates the cutting of trees is along Route 375, where the Woodstock Elementary is located. Any changes to the Woodstock town tree law may affect the school and its property. However, as a recognized independent municipality with its own board and taxing authority, the school district may be exempt. This status also applies to the library and fire districts, whose properties are also within the regulated area of the current tree law. This is certainly a question to consider as the task force begins its work. The process for the Woodstock Tree Task Force will be as follows. After reaching out to the community, we will assemble a task force of 7 to 9 members. Beginning in May, we will meet, organize, set goals, and a work plan. This plan will include examining best practices, gathering input from the public and experts, and assembling our findings and recommendations in a report to the town board. We anticipate a 4 to 6 month process. And this is specifically why he asked to present this. Please consider if and how the Board of Education would like to join in this effort. The town of Woodstock would benefit from the perspective of a trustee of the school board as either a member of the tree task force or as a participant in the process. Please contact me with any questions you may have. Respectfully, Bennett Ratcliffe, Woodstock Town Board member. And so he is wondering if any of us may want to participate as a member of the task force. And I have asked him, you do not need to be a Woodstock town resident to be a member of the task force if you're representing the Board of Education. So if there are any questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, but Councilman Ratcliffe can answer any questions if you have them. I think anything? All right, thank you. I'll look forward to that. Superintendent, District News.
Thank you. And again, I want to thank Principal Edelman and the incredible performance of our high school performing arts group here, because they did a fabulous job. So just a few brief things. As a reminder, our spring offering and parent workshops are scheduled to start this week. Actually, tomorrow night Thursday, April 21st at 6 o'clock. There will be a workshop for secondary parents, and it will be held in the middle school, high school library. And we already have a fair number of people that have registered for that. The elementary parent workshop will be offered on Tuesday, May 10th at 6 o'clock at Bennett. Again, the topic for both workshops will be an introduction to the various components of social emotional learning and why the work is so important to our students as well as to our school community. Both of these sessions will be facilitated by staff members from Morningside Center. Just a COVID update. We are continuing to closely monitor our positivity rates in the district with COVID-19. Not surprising, our district rates have risen slightly since returning from spring break. This is one of the reasons that we did pass out, if you'll recall, all those home tests to both staff and students. Given this trend, at this time, we had an instructional cabinet meeting yesterday, and we discussed at this time we're going to be leaving our existing COVID mitigation strategies in place. We will, of course, continue to monitor this daily, and if we do see a downward trend, we will reassess and reconsider the ramping down of our existing mitigation strategies. As Mr. Edelman alluded to, our end-of-year celebrations right now, although we're planning them with these mitigation strategies in place, in fact, we may be able to ease up on some of them should the situation warrant. 22-23 calendar. We have been working on that. We sent out drafts to our various bargaining groups to share the calendar, and we're planning to present it for adoption at the May 5th meeting. Now, with our elementary schools, both Phoenicia and Woodstock, and I alluded to this in an email I sent out earlier today, received some very exciting news. Our primary students, as you're all aware, have been involved this entire school year in civic engagement initiative of participating in a Trex plastic film recycling challenge. We're excited to announce that our school district came in second place in the Northeast region for this year's competition. We actually, our K through 3 students collected 4,101 pounds of plastic. And nationally, there were over 32,000 pounds that were collected. And what we are fortunate is that a second place award was supposed to receive one Trex bench. However, because we have 2 primary buildings, they have graciously volunteered to give us 2 so that each of our primary buildings will be receiving those. And you will see that, I believe, as an item of a resolution to accept those. Students were very excited about this, and they had a great amount of fun meeting this challenge. And it was incredible to me that it was over 4,000 pounds because basically it's plastic bags they're collecting. So it really was an incredible volume. Bennett is planning their orientation events for incoming students and their parents. On Thursday, May 12th, third grade students will spend the day at Bennett to help them familiarize themselves with both the layout of the building and the culture. They will have the opportunity to meet the music department and learn about all kinds of musical instruments. They'll eat lunch in the cafeteria, walk the nature trail, weather permitting, and then end the day by actually coming down here to the middle school, high school auditorium for a dress rehearsal of the 5th and 6th grade concert. Parents will have the opportunity to attend a parent orientation session on Tuesday, May 17th at 7 o'clock. Today, we actually had our first formal 2002-2003 budget presentation at the PTA Forum. And tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Woodstock's PTA, I know that Trustee Salem will be there and Trustee Bishop to present that information as well. As you're all aware, we had a special board meeting on Tuesday, April 12th, to adopt this year's budget after we received the budget runs from the state on the 11th. And there were a lot of good questions asked at the meeting today, and I anticipate that we will continue to provide those sessions to those that are interested. So Principal Aneman stole my thunder on reminding you about all the important dates that are coming up, both here at the middle school and high school. But we're excited to be able to offer those. And the tickets for Little Mermaid are online and available, so you can purchase them. And finally, as I had mentioned, we are continuing on a weekly basis to review our end-of-year celebrations, cognizant of what we need to do for maintaining our COVID protocols. So with that, that's my update for tonight, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for the superintendent? Congratulations, Assistant Superintendent Laffin and our civics at-large teacher and Superintendent Corsones. Wonderful accomplishment engaging our young people, especially our very young people. So thank you for that. And I bragged a little bit about your seal of civic engagement at the civics teach-in last week. Any other questions? Board district news. Trustee Bishop.
I just want to acknowledge the outstanding Talon that I read cover to cover when we received it by email, I believe from Superintendent Corsones. It was so well done. I did reach out to Principal Edelman and Mrs. Conroy, who is the faculty advisor, and really just complimenting the student writers and their teachers for the phenomenal job that they're doing in writing and civic engagement.
Thank you. Agreed, 100%. Trustee Story.
Last week, I went to the Ulster County School Boards Association. It was the student dinner at Career and Tech, and it's one of the more enjoyable things that we get to do as board members, because our students that go to the culinary program cook us food while we sit through a budget presentation. So it's something that's a great, and it was well attended by the other districts, and it was great to see our kids. And it's the first time BOCES has done something like that again since 2 years. So it was good to be back.
Thank you. Anybody else? I do want to reiterate that Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. At the Woodstock Community Center, the Civics Teach-In series continues. It is excellent. I cannot remember. I will not be able to be there tomorrow night, but I can't remember who's speaking. But at every level of elected government in your area is represented, and will give a presentation over the 6 weeks of the program. I would like to somehow see if we can make our students aware of it. And I'm sorry I'm late to sort of getting on that, but if they hurry, they'll get to see Congressman, I believe Congressman Delgado will be there, and I believe a representative from Senator Schumer's office in the last week. But the fire department, everybody that I have seen has been incredible. And I was actually approached to see if there is some way that the school might be involved in presenting it in the future or associating it with our school. And so that is something that we will discuss going forward as I'll put them in touch with the administration, okay? Anything else? Our student representative is not here tonight. I just checked to see. I gave her the opportunity to send something if she wanted anything read into the record. Let me just double check. Nothing. Okay, so we will wish her well, and we'll see her next time. The board will acknowledge the public be heard comments from the last meeting: Denise Warren, Ariel Futterfuss, and Brittany Berger. Great. The public and students may comment on any agenda or non-agenda item. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. During public be heard, civility is always expected. Speakers of public be heard understand that the Board of Education cannot engage in discussion nor answer questions during public be heard. The Board of Education and Superintendent cannot be party to discussions of individual student or personnel matters in open session. People wishing to express individual student or personnel concerns can bring them to the superintendent's attention. Lindsay Shands. Please say your name into the mic.
I know it's Lindsay Shands. I got it. I know you can't answer my question now, but I'm sure you will tomorrow when you come to the Woodstocks PTA meeting. I want to know how you expect this community to trust this board with an almost $60 million budget when you constantly have a track record of making decisions for this community and asking questions later. For example, later start times, the mascots, and now the hiring of a superintendent. This process of hiring the superintendent feels so disingenuous. It was done almost entirely in secret. You hired a consultant who did a nationwide search, you interviewed candidates, you called stakeholder meetings for a listening session. That was kept secret. And the person you picked is a candidate who left our district 2 months before graduation 1 year ago to, and I quote, spend time with her family. So what changed? Now she's leaving her current district to come back before those kids graduate. There's no integrity in that. None. This hire feels like a huge waste of time and taxpayer money. I personally will be voting no for the budget, and I'm going to encourage other people to do so too, because I would rather be in an austerity where someone else is controlling our money than this board.
Thank you. Agenda item 10.01. The Ontario Central School District Board of Education hereby approves the 22-23 Ulster County Board of Cooperative Educational Services administrative budget in the amount of $6,650,577. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop, second Trustee Story. Are there questions or comments? This is the reason why our meeting is being held tonight instead of its normal Tuesday night. All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. 10.02. The Board of Education hereby casts its ballot for the following 3 candidates in uncontested seats for 3-year terms. This is for the Ulster BOCES Board. Seat number 1, David Thompson from New Paltz. Seat number 2, Brian Martin from Rondout Valley. Seat number 3, Barbara Carroll. That is the at-large seat. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop. Second, Trustee Sherry. Are there questions or comments? All those in favor? That's unanimous as well. 10.03, the Board of Education hereby accepts 2 Trex benches, one by the K-3 students for their environmental competition. May I have a first? Trustee DeJesus. Second, Trustee Bishop. Congratulations to our team and our students. All those in favor? That's unanimous. 10.04, approve contract for the superintendent of schools. Resolved that Victoria McLaren be appointed to serve as the superintendent of schools for the period of June 6, 2022 through June 30, 2026, in accordance with the terms of the employment agreement between the district and Ms. McLaren, Be it further resolved that the board president is hereby authorized to execute the employment agreement on the district's behalf. May I have a first? Trustee Story, second Trustee Sherry. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? And abstain. That's 4 yay, 0 nay, and 1 abstain. The motion is carried. Second reading and adoption of Policy 3410, a Code of Conduct. We have tabled these a few times. I assume everyone has had adequate time to go through them. May I have a first to adopt Policy 3140 as written? Trustee Bishop, second. Trustee Story, are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. We've got quite a pile of policy to get through. Bear with us. And I've got to flip through pages to do it. Uh, 1102. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 3420 as written. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop, again approving her own work. Second, Trustee Story. Are there any questions or comments on the anti-harassment policy? All those in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 3421 as written. May I have a first? This is the policy on sexual harassment of students. Trustee Story, second. Trustee Bishop. Questions or comments on this policy? No? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. 1104, the Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 3422, Sexual Harassment of Employees, as written. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop, don't be shy. Second, Trustee DeJesus. Questions or comments on this policy? All those in favor? That is unanimous. 1105. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 6120. That is a policy of non-discrimination and equal opportunity. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop. Second, Trustee Sherry. Questions? Comments? All those in favor? That is also unanimous. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 6122 as written. This is complaints and grievances by employees. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop. Second, Trustee Sherry. Questions or comments? All those in favor? That's unanimous. 1107, second reading and adoption of Policy 7310, School Conduct and Discipline. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 7310 as written. May I have a first? Trustee DeJesus, second Trustee Bishop. Questions or comments on this? All those in favor? That is unanimous. 1108, second reading and adoption of Policy 7380, Dignity for All Students Act. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 7380 as written. May I have a first? Trustee DeJesus, second. Trustee Story. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous as well. 1109, second reading and adoption of Policy 7550, Complaints and Grievances by Students. The Board of Education hereby adopts Policy 7550 as written. May I have a first? Trustee Bishop. Trustee Story, second. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you to the Policy Committee for your hard work and everybody's patience, and the Superintendent, thank you very much. You guys worked very hard on this, and I know we had to table these a couple times because we had some lengthy meetings and stuff. So on we go. we'll look forward to being overwhelmed by your excellent work again very soon. The board hereby approves items 1202 to 1209 in the consent agenda. May I have a first? Trustee Story, second Trustee Bishop. Are there questions or comments? Trustee Story.
I reviewed Schedule U, and it's
Thank you very much. Committee reports, Facilities Committee. Oh, wait, did I skip something? Oh, no, did we vote? Yes. There you have it. All those in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. I told you I will make however many mistakes someone else makes, I will double it. Committee reports, Trustee Story for the Facilities Committee.
last time we met at Phoenicia, we did our required walkthrough of the building and saw what we're planning on doing in the hopefully this summer, but may not be this summer, could be 2023. So we're moving on with that and continued talking. Our next meeting will be here. Our next board meeting, May 3rd. We will be starting here.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Trustee Story? No? Communications Committee. There is not much to report except to say this, that now that we are through the process of seating a superintendent, which I'm very glad about, and it's been a long and hard process. Trustee Bishop and I will be getting back to our survey, which we will put in front of the stakeholders, and we will then try and sort of survey people on their communication habits and try and get some insight into how we might improve communication, not only between the board and the public, but between board members, between the board and the administration, between the administration and teachers, all sort of a 360 view of our communications issues. Any old business to discuss? Any new business to discuss? Trustee Story?
I think we changed the policy about board members going to conferences, and I know the Rural Schools Conference is coming up, and it's one that I've gone to in the past and have felt it's very beneficial. So I'd like to go again to that. If we have to discuss it as a board, put it on the next agenda. Because I know the registration is coming up soon, and to get into the hotel, you have to make a reservation that day. Literally, it's worse it's worse than getting a hotel for NYSBA. So.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we will put that on the next agenda. And I haven't personally gone to that, but I know you've gone before. But everyone I know who's gone has said it's really kind of like essential sort of development. So I would encourage folks to go. Any other new business? Oh, sorry. Trustee Sherry. I very rarely look to my right.
No comment. I just had a question for Mary Stephanie and perhaps for Principal Edelman. In terms of Spirit Day, the last time we talked about it, we had talked about doing it during the week, and I thought one of the real benefits of that was that the students would already be here at school. So I just want to ask if we've had any discussion about transportation for our students whose parents may be working on Saturdays, and we do have quite a few of them. I just want to make sure that it's as equitable as possible and that we have the opportunity to get students here who may want to participate that won't have the opportunity if their parents are working. And whether that's, I'm happy to brainstorm if the table can help in any way, but just in general, I just want to make sure that it's accessible for as many students as possible.
I will reach out to Mr. Edelman and we'll address it, and I'll get back to you, okay?
Great, thank you. Other new business? I just want to mention that having approved a new superintendency, the transition process which is part of our what we purchased with our consultant, Dr. Bill Christensen, will begin, and all the stakeholders who have participated, that is representatives of various stakeholder groups, will be contacted by Dr. Christensen to begin to contribute to a list of transition priorities. And yes, there's going to be plenty more to say about that going forward. Any requests for information? Just circling back on the restorative circles. Was that answered?
Yeah, it was. I'm not going to include it tonight since Trustee Osmond
Sorry.
I forgot. Yes, it was answered. I know that Trustee Osmond had asked that we bring up the policy on recess, and so I'm waiting to provide that information in our public meeting, but I did have that information. And that's the only RFI that I'm aware of. Okay?
Okay, that's great. And I just, I have the board's list of transition priorities. I have put recess in with sort of other student mental health, and it fits with so many of the things, start times. And so, yeah, thank you for that. Any other RFIs? A first to adjourn? Trustee Story? It's just a habit. Second, Trustee DeJesus. All those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks.